Well, good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Ken's Cuts. It's Labor Day weekend, 2025. 52 degrees this morning here in central New Jersey. Got to take advantage of this cool weather. I'm absolutely loving it. I've got a couple orders that are going to go out today that I want to talk about. But it's been a hot minute since I've done a full-length video. Life has happened. Our daughter went off to college. We had a pre-send-off barbecue for the cousins, so that weekend kept me quite busy. As I've said before, I'm a weekend wood warrior, and when the weekends come and go and Ken can't get anything split, it just tugs at me that I got to get back out here. But last weekend, we took Brianna off to college in Connecticut, so I took Thursday and Friday off to pre-pack, to get her up to college. We came home on Saturday. We had graduation parties and other festivities to attend, so that kept me quite busy. And here we are, Labor Day weekend. I've got customers looking for smoker wood. They want a barbecue on Sunday and Monday, so I got to get stuff ready. And I wanted to just talk about what's been going on off camera since my last video. We've had a few developments, and I'm going to turn the camera around here and show you what we got going on, so stick around. Okay, so the weekend of my birthday, one of my subscribers, you've met him before on my channel, he demoed my AXIS last December. Mike Maloney is a local fire chief in an adjacent town, and I've gone to the firehouse and gathered up oak from over there, and he was away camping the weekend of my birthday. I turned 56 the beginning of August, and he was camping with his son, and he reached out to me and he said, hey, the tree service that I moonlight with is in your area, and he's got some silver maple. Do you want it? I said, hell yeah. So I dropped him a pin, sent him a locator on a text message, and Wayne was kind enough to drop off the silver maple. I had done a quick short, I guess, or talked about that on a recent video as well. But this is what I have left to work on. This stuff is all bucked at 16 inches, and it's right here next to the machine. Got the AXIS all covered up, trying to keep the engine dry. So we have that to work on. And then in between barbecues and college trips, I was able to get a stack and 3/4 on a pallet here of that silver maple all split up. And the wheelbarrows that I use are over here. There are these Groundworks Tractor Supply specials with the double wheels. I have 2 of them. And when I set them next to the AXIS, and I put a round up there that's 16 inches long and 20 to 24 inches in diameter, I'm filling these 8 cubic foot wheelbarrows with one split, or one round, I should say. And so you go through 2 rounds, and then you got to turn off the machine, and then you got to wheel it over here. You got to stack it. So it's a good thing and a bad thing, because you have to keep starting and stopping the machine, but it is what it is. But I got this silver maple opened up, some beautiful splits. I split them a little bit bigger because I'm planning to sell this as pit wood or heating wood next summer. And obviously it's not going to be ready now, being that it's the end of August. And I split it a little bit larger than I normally would. But I've got other stuff put aside for maple for smoking if somebody's interested. So that's what we managed to get done. And then over here next to the wheelbarrows is the hickory that I brought in from Tom at Tom's Firewood when I went to Brad's fellowship. And the hickory that Brad put onto the trailer with the Mini X was 2 16-inch diameter hickory poles, 10-footers. And I've got this all split up. I was able to get that done off camera. So these are all hickory splits for smokers. And then I take a piece of the barkwood and I write on it, Hickory, August 25. You can't see the 8, it's behind the pole. But I mark everything to keep track of when it was split. Now, with these small 2x2s of hickory, literally if somebody was looking for smoker wood in December, I could sell it because it'll be ready. Because I split it small, and the guys with the offset smokers like the small splits. because they heat up quick and they burn quick, and it doesn't take forever and a day to get them to light when they lay them in on a bed of coals. So that's the method to my madness. So that's what we got going on over there. All right, guys, before I get into making bundles, I just showed you that silver maple that was off by the AXIS that I need to get split up. And my last short that I did, I think it was the last short, the caption was "Perfect Landing." I had this red oak brought in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 pieces, and the stump. It slid off the truck, and literally the stump was laying on its side in the truck and landed right side down. So I'm planning on taking a cut or so off of that, and then noodle in the base with the saw, just so I can get it over to the machine. And/or I'm going to bring the machine over here and buck this stuff where it's laying and run it right through the AXIS and then split it up. So Mike Maloney and his friend Wayne have donated all of this oak. Wayne brought the first load, and he was local. And then I heard from Mike Maloney. He was moonlighting with Wayne to help with a big job, literally in my development. And they took down this chestnut oak. They were literally on the next block, and they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, could you use some more wood? It's all oak. We're cherry picking out the good stuff. This stuff is all chestnut oak." That piece there looks like a red with the barkless. It looks dead already. The rest of this looks like it was still alive. The chestnut is holding bark. But look at the size of this stuff. I mean, it's huge. I mean, there's my hand. So those are like 18 inches. Close to 20 in diameter. That one there's got to be well over 20 right there. That big guy. So we got plenty of chestnut oak here. And mid-August, I had a customer come. He's a local guy. He's buying apple splits for a buddy of his who's got a food truck. And when he saw all this, he came running over to it. And he's like, "What are you going to do with all this oak?" And he's into wood, so he knows the species. It's like, "What are you going to do with this chestnut? What are you going to do with this red oak? What are you going to do? You going to cut it down for smoker wood?" I said, "Yeah, possibly. Red oak is definitely going to be pizza wood. And pizza wood can hold bark. It's not a big deal if it's on there for pizza. But for the smoking guys, I strip it. So I'll take some of the heartwood and make pizza wood out of it. And, I'm sorry, smoker wood. And then anything that's holding bark, we'll put that stuff together for a separate pile." But anyway, what was I trying to say? Oh, so yeah, so Rob comes running over to this and he goes, "Oh my God, all this bark." He's like, "My wife does crafts with the bark wood." He's like, "If any of this bark falls off, would you sell it to me?" I said, "Sell it to you? Hell, I'll give it to you." So he's looking for me to slab up some of that bark, and it doesn't matter the width, and he's going to pass it on to his wife. So let's get into making bundles. All right, guys, so we're out in front of the garage. One of the orders that's going to get picked up today is a customer who found me late in 2024. He lives over the river in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. He drives 30 to 40 minutes to come out here because I have pecan, and he loves his pecan. I had reached out to a bunch of my customers in July before we went away on our European vacation, and he said he wanted pecan and white oak, and he was going to try and get to me before we left, and it never happened. And then his life got in the way, and he hasn't been able to get here. So I recently had a new pizza wood customer contact me, message me while I was at my day job, asking if he could come by for pizza wood. Fortunately, my wife was home, so I was able to have her open the garage and sell off the white oak to this gentleman for pizza wood. And he's absolutely loving it. And he said he does backyard pizzas, and he figures he'll come see me every 3 or 4 weeks for more bundles. If I can talk him into more quantities of bundles, then he wouldn't have to come visit quite often, but it's here nor there. Anyway, also, Jeremy was looking for the pecan, and on Sunday, literally 5 days ago, I took the pecan bundles to the smokehouse that I work with because they needed pecan. So I sold off Jeremy's bundles, and literally 3 mornings ago, at 6:20 in the morning, Jeremy messaged me and said, "Hey, are my bundles still hanging around? I want to come pick them up on Saturday." So I had to let him know that unfortunately everything was sold. Fortunately for me, but not for him. And I told him that I was able to rebundle these for him. I've got more wood ready to go. And he also asked if I had apple chunks. I said absolutely. And he said, okay, I'll get back to you. So an hour or so later, he gets back to me and he says, hey, skip the apple idea. I want pecan chunks. I'm buying them for a neighbor who's got a smoker, and he keeps buying chunks at the big box store. And I told him that he can't do that anymore, that he needs to buy from Ken. So Jeremy, being a good soul that he is purchasing 2 milk crates of pecan chunks. I'll show you them here in a second, for 2 different customers, friends of his, that one has some kind of smoker. I think it's a vertical smoker. And the other gentleman has a master-built gravity-fed that uses charcoal and wood chunks. And he's going to introduce him to the pecan as well. So let me flip you around and show you what we got going on. All right, guys, pardon the messy garage, but I wanted to keep this stuff absolutely bone dry. Not that we've had any rain in the last 3 days, but I'm just OCD with keeping everything dry once it's wrapped in plastic. So down here on the bottom, I've got 2 bundles of white oak that I literally processed in late April and or early May. I can't remember exactly, but it was definitely in the spring. This white oak is all 2x2. It is bone dry, ready to go in like 4 or 5 months, which is absolutely insane for oak. But when I split it small like I do, that's the benefit of splitting small and selling in a short turnaround time. Above it is 2 bundles of pecan here. And then the 2 milk crates that I just talked about. These are pecan chunks. I took some of my short splits, some of my chunky pieces, ran them through a chop saw, and I made up 2 crates. There's one there. There's one underneath. 2 crates of pecan chunks. And Jeremy's going to be by this morning because he's a good soul. He's buying these crates for 2 of his friends because he wants to introduce them to pecan. I'm walking to the back, to the rear of the property, and we're going to set up the bundler and make a few more bundles for a very special customer. Pat is one of my OG original smoker wood customers from the spring of 2022 when I started this little hobby. And Pat is a lineman for the cable company. He works 6 days a week. He needs wood for Labor Day. And I'm going to be in his town about 10 or 15 minutes from where he lives for a barbecue later today. So I don't normally do this, but because it's Pat and because I'm going to be literally in his backyard, I'm going to put together 4 quick bundles for him this morning. 2 of hickory, 1 of cherry, 1 of pecan. And I'm going to drop it off at his house while he's working. And I'll probably meet up with his wife and she'll pay me and I'll be on my way. So we're going to make up the bundles here real quick. I'll set up the bundler and I'll get right back to you. Stick around. All right, guys. So the first bundle I'm putting together is going to be a super quick one. And only because I have this stuff pre-staged. When I got this pecan in, some of the trunk wood that had a very straight grain, I was able to get really beautiful splits out of it. And I bucked everything down and pre-staged into these milk crates. I stack them in the back here, turned up on their sides. I tarp the tops just to keep the water from getting down through them. So this is all pre-split pecan. And listen to it. I mean, this stuff is over a year old, super dry in the crates. So I grabbed the crate and a few extra pieces just to top off the load, top off the bundle. And I literally just take these out of here. A few of them are holding bark. Pecan is one of the few woods that you can leave bark on. I don't even see any in this rack that are holding bark. So everything in here is barkless. But I literally just going to grab these from the crate, load them into the frame. A quick Jenga puzzle. And this one will be done. I've got other pecan over there that's super long, crazy lengths. You know, they are the results of the tree service. Actually, here's one with the bark. There's a bark piece right there. It's only about half. Some of the bark has come off, but I tell the customers, leave the bark on the pecan. It sweetens the smoke, so they don't need to worry about it. But as I was saying, the pecan that I have over there, I've got about, I don't know, a quarter of a cord, maybe a third of a cord left of pecan. They're bigger pieces that the smokehouse guys want because they like the larger cuts. And for the guys with the offset smokers, like what Pat uses, these shorter lengths, being barkless. Oh, here's another one with bark. I lied. There's actually two pieces. But anyway, the bark sweetens the smoke. And we literally are just going to lay these in here. And I told Pat I'm a little light on backyard pecan. That's what I call it, backyard pecan. And he said that's no problem. He really loves his hickory, so I'm going to do that next. And we'll get the hickory together. Then I'll pick through my cherry stack and get some really nice cherry for Pat. And we'll have these all ready to go. Jeremy just texted me. He got a late start. He's on his way. He should be here within the hour or so. So by that time, I'll have this bundle ready for Pat, or have these all ready to go. We'll get them loaded up in the SUV. Then once Jeremy leaves, we can get a shower and head on down the road to my wife's cousins for the barbecue, as I talked about. So, trying to make this look pretty on the top. Pat will probably be cutting into these bundles by Sunday, Monday. So it won't really matter. He keeps everything on his breezeway covered. So once it's in plastic, I don't have to worry about him ruining the quality of the wood because he knows to keep it dry and take care of it. But that's a quick bundle, guys, because I had it pre-staged. There's only one or two more of those crates back there. So we'll do a couple quick wraps. Get this nice and tight. I love this 10-inch wrap. It works great for my bundles. When I first started doing them for all the new customers, I had bundle cards that I've shown on other videos. But in this case, when it's a repeat for Pat, going on 4 years with him, a little over 3 years actually. But I just take a Sharpie and I write on the wrappers. And for the most part, these guys know what it is they're using. So if it's like a white oak or a pecan, the barks are, the wood's very similar. The red oak obviously is darker. The cherry is obviously very red. So don't really need to go crazy with the labels, but I just like to write on the tops what they are. And for the smokehouses, I put giant letter P's on the side, so when they have these bundles in their racks, they can look at it from the side and see the P and know it's pecan. So we do the same for Pat. It's just a habit. There we go. That's the first of 4. So we'll get the hickory ready next, and I'll get right back to you. All right, guys, next up on the docket is the hickory that I talked about. And off camera, I had to take some of the hickory splits and do 2 things. I had to strip the bark because some of the hickory that I brought in from Tom was holding bark. So I had to strip the bark. And then some of the pieces were a little bit big, so I cracked them in half and threw some in the wheelbarrow here, but I think I underestimated. I don't think I'm going to have enough here for, well, definitely not going to have enough for two bundles. But I just wanted to show you what we got going here. This stuff's all primo, dry as a bone, ready to go. Pat's going to be in his glory with this stuff. I don't think there's a piece of protein that I haven't seen Pat put hickory smoke on. He's got a small YouTube channel. And I'll put a link to his channel in the show notes, because I don't want to say the channel name wrong and screw it all up. But anyway, I just wanted to say that Pat's a backyard hobbyist, just like I'm a wood hobbyist. and us little guys all stick together. But that's one bundle real quick, and don't have quite enough to do the next bundle, so I don't want to bore you. But we'll get this wrapped up. We'll split up some more, debark a couple more pieces. I've got a few over there that I could probably just grab and split in half if I pick through the pile real quickly. But we'll be right back to you guys, so stick around. All right, guys, so we got the hickory done, and we're on to the cherry. And this is kind of the same drill with the cherry. I've got some Primo, barkless, 12 to 14 inch. This stuff is like, light it with a match. Anyway, just heard from Pat. He's excited. I told him his bundles are just about ready, and I'll be heading over later. He's going to hopefully connect me, and his wife will be there. And Jeremy should be pulling here any minute. He got a late start, as I said before. And then he had to text me because he misplaced my address. So now he's rolling, and he'll be here hopefully soon. Got an errand or two to run, and then I got to get a shower, and then we got to get off to the barbecue and drop this stuff off for Pat. Those two are kind of big for an offset. We got some skinnier ones in here. Pat's actually working an on-call day today. He's basically on the clock, waiting for the phone to ring, getting paid to be available, and it's Labor Day weekend. So, if you're watching, Pat, thank you for your order. Thank you for your generosity. Oh, there we go. I just found a piece. March of 25, this stuff was cut. Told you I write on everything. It's just a matter of finding it. March of 25. So, doesn't take all that long for cherry to dry, so we know it's ready. And we're going to heat this a little bit on the top. These three are a little bit big, but we got enough in here. I told Pat I might have a few short pieces. He's fine with that. I got a couple that are 8 to 10 over here. For my buddy Pat. This is literally like putting the cherry on the top, pardon the pun. But I always take care of Pat. He runs a barbecue group that he invited me into in August of 22. And that's how I've met some of my best customers, is through that barbecue group on Facebook. And it's called Smoking Meat and Barbecue for All. Beginners, pit masters, you name it. There's a whole bunch of us in there. In August of 22, when I joined, I think we had about 80 members. We're up over 1,000 now. We've got members in Australia, members out west, all over the country. Some of my closest woodhounds actually barbecue, and they're in the barbecue group because they sell wood and they barbecue. And if you're watching, you know who you are. Alright guys, that's about going to do it for this one. The 4 bundles are loaded up in the SUV, and I'm taking a water break. And forgot to mention earlier, I'm wearing my favorite log splitter manufacturer's t-shirt. You know who they are, blue and orange, Eastonmade. It's got the Eastonmade logo on the back. And I'm sporting my favorite chainsaw hat, my Stihl. And thanks a lot for sticking to the end, guys, as I said earlier. And We are less than 2 weeks away from splitting for Hope, September 12th, 2025, Stewartstown, Pennsylvania. Off to my right here, I showed you earlier in the beginning intros, I've got that silver maple that needs to get split, and I got to get it put up. It's got to move out of the way because the AXIS is behind it. And this coming weekend, the weekend of the 6th, I plan on being out here all day, busting my hump to get some of this wood processed and get it put up for the spring. My wife's got bridal shower to go to. My daughter's away at college. So I'll have the wood yard to myself. So hopefully we will have some footage for next weekend's video, the 6th. If not, looking forward to seeing everybody September 12th, Stewartstown, Pennsylvania. It'll be my 3rd year there, my 2nd year with the machine. And we're looking to do 100 cord. We're going to sell green wood. Well, the foundation's going to sell fresh, split, green wood for charity as a fundraiser, 200 a cord. We're looking to do 100 cord. So that's 20K that we're planning on helping to pass on to the Hope Foundation for them to do as fundraisers. And we're going to be raffling off some merch. Some vendors have donated, made some donations. I reached out to our friends up at Perfect Stick in North Jersey. Carlos sent on a couple Perfect Sticks to me, so we'll be raffling those off. I'm going to do a channel package that I'm planning on raffling off there as well. In the process of having some hats made. I've got t-shirts. I'm going to be bringing my fire starters, and a homemade smoked salsa treat will be part of the prize package if anybody wins the raffle and wins that prize. So that'll be fun. And that's about it, guys. Until next Sunday, get outside, get cutting, take those big pieces of wood, make little pieces of wood. It all burns, and you can always make a big fire out of small wood. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.